Hi everybody, welcome back. It's day 4, the week's flying by. Today we're going to talk cuffs and bands. Just a reminder, I'm Suzanne Todd, partnering with Jess Wilcox. Happy to be here, so thrilled that you've chosen to join us. This is the sew along for the Petite Stitchery PS I Love You pattern. We are using fabric from the Fab Clique, and there's a discount code right on the front, so you can go and purchase all the beautiful fabric that you want. Straight from the Fab Clique. They are definitely my favorite. That's where the majority of my fabrics come from, including this gorgeous teal hachi fabric, sweater fabric, that I am using for my PS I Love You. I'm wearing another one of the blue pieces today. I think yesterday I had on the blue and white stripe with some tie-dye. Can you tell I have a thing about blue and about tie-dye? Yeah, that's really how I justify it. Because see, I need to buy more fabric because it's blue, right? Yes. Nod, say yes. Yes, Suzanne, that's why you need more fabric. Might have a problem. Problem's a stretch of a word. I won't let you see all the stuff in the cabinets behind me. But that being said, the Fab Clique is definitely my favorite store online to shop. Prices are fantastic, as well as, like I said, that discount code. How can you go wrong? So rush right over there, load up, get lots of good stuff. It's so pretty. So let's start by talking about the cuffs. Again, I'm doing the bishop sleeve. We'll get to that in a minute. Cuffs are simple. So this was my cuff. I folded it right side together, sewed a seam straight down the side. I did that ahead of time. You didn't need to watch me sew a straight seam on my serger. You all know how to do that. Sewed it right down. So now I'm right sides together. I sewed down lengthwise, just like this. All I'm going to do is simply turn it so that the wrong sides are together. Wrong sides are together. And that's how it makes the cuff. So now my cuff is folded and ready to go. Let's now, I like to know, so obviously I've lined up my seams where I sewed, and I like to pull it straight across and know where's the center point of this cuff. So if this is one side, this is the other. I do this little trick. Just cut off a small little corner. It'll get taken up in the seam allowance if you don't cut it too big, which I've done that before. And then you just make a little bit bigger seam allowance. It'll be fine. So now I know where my two sides are. So when I go to put my bishop sleeve in, I'll be able to know and to be able to line it up a little better. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side. Let's talk about the bishop sleeve. Yesterday, we ran a long gathering stitch right down the side of this that again is going to get taken up either in our seam allowance or it's so easy to pull out. Again, that's why I use a contrasting thread. So we're going to kind of quarter this. So here's the half, here's the seam. So I know this is the other side. Seam, other side. Same thing. Cut. Now I know. If I wanted to, I could bring my cut piece and my seam together, pull those out, hang on, got to get it in there, and clip these corners. I don't usually do that on something that's gathered quite this much. It won't make a difference. If it were not gathered quite this much, and I'm going to tell you, this is a big gather, and I'm using sweater fabric, so it gets really thick inside there. So it is a little trick to work with it, but just go slow, you'll be fine. I'm not going to clip that today because it really doesn't matter to me. I really don't think I'll be able to get it lined up. That being said, my fabric is a little bit slick on the backside, so it tends to move a little bit. So I am going to, for fun, put a couple of pins. You don't need to do this unless your fabric is a little bit slick on the wrong sides like mine is, but I just wanted to hold it a little bit better. I think in the long run it'll benefit me. I'm a big fan of basting. You'll see when we get to the waistband, I basted mine. It just, again, it slides, it kept me straight. I use basting a lot. Okay, so I have turned my PS I Love You sweater right side out. There are multiple ways to do that. Do this step. This is just how I like to do it. I fit my hand down in the cuff from the top. This is the raw edge here. Raw edge is right across here. So I've got my hand right down in it, and here in the back, let me get my hand back in there, right there, that's where my seams have come together. So I am literally just going to slide the end of this bishop sleeve, and like I said, it's a lot to gather up here. So take your time and keep working. I have found my center seam of the bishop sleeve to the center seam of the cuff. And where are my clips? There we go. And I'm going to clip those two things together. Okay? Now I'm just going to kind of fish around here a little bit. It's a big sleeve. Keep working it. Keep working it. I know it's there. I did make a mark. There it is. There's my little V that I cut. Here's my other V that I cut on the cuff. I'm just going to line those two things up. Put a clip on there to hold that together. So now I'm secured on my two ends. What do you call that? The front and the back? Yeah, front and the back. There we go. Kind of maneuver it around a little bit, and now the fun begins. See all this bunched up right here? We're going to pull our bobbin thread, and we're going to gather it up so that the bishop portion comes in and is now the same size as the cuff. So again, my contrasting thread, I can find it. Come here, I can see it. Getting it in my hand is another question. Okay, let's see here. Come here, you. There we go. As I start to pull it, the sleeve starts to come together. Just keep working it, keep moving it. This is going to take just a minute, but take your time. This is what will make it look so pretty. Then as you get it to where it's going to fit, let's turn you around. Just keep working it in there. And there we are. I'm going to put a clip to hold that. Then I'm going to move to the other side. I like to gather mine side by one side at a time. You can pull the same thread all the way around, but I've left a long tail on both sides. I just find it a little bit easier than working across everything. It's just a little easier. Some people do two seam lines for gathering. I don't. Again, you're back to my procrastination. It's way too much time. The trick to this, when you gather this, sometimes it's going to want to kind of curl in on itself. You don't want that, because then when you sew it, you're going to have a gap. Ask me how I know. And then you're going to be going back over it. So I'm now going to sew this down, attaching the ruffled or gathered piece to the outside cuff. Hopefully you can see me do this. I'm not going to tell you that it goes on real easy, because I've got sweater fabric, bishop sleeve, layers, gathers, you name it. But it does go on. This is one of those things. You just have to use your patience. Keep working with it. Again, another trick here is to keep looking at it and be sure you've got all three pieces. There's 2 layers to the cuff, and then there's the gathered piece. Be sure all 3 of those layers are lining up one after the other, or you will get a hole. Ask me how I know. So I am just kind of working this under, going a little way. I did line up those side seams, by the way. You know how I told you previously I like my seams to line up? Yeah, I tried my best. We'll see on this. Little trickier. Come on, you can do it. I'm just working it through, removing clips as I get to them. Got a pin there that looks kind of high. Yeah, remember I put those pins in here? I got to be careful of those. All right, I got to readjust here for a minute. I use my tweezers to kind of grab and pull. As I can already see, I've lost a little bit. Remember I told you to line up all three? Well, I lost 2 of the 3. There we go. They're back. It's a lot to go through. A lot of thickness here. And it's making my serger rattle. I'm actually pulling it from back in the back here. Hope you can see that. Well, let's hope I got it all in there. If I didn't, I'll go back over it at a later time. So that's what this looks like. Just like that. All 3 layers are right in there. This is from my gather. I'll just pull that out. Once I flip it, there we are. It doesn't look like I have any holes. Wonderful. There's my sleeve. You all see that? Isn't that pretty? Let's hold that up. You can see how pretty that is. Look how pretty that sleeve is. Love a good bishop sleeve. That thread you see hanging down, that's just from my gathers. Most of it will pull out. I go back at the end to get all those out. I'm not going to worry about those right now. I've already done the other side just because it was a little time consuming. And I wanted to be sure I got it right before I showed you how to do it, really, is what it was. So that one's done as well. Let's talk about the band. So our band was one big strip. We folded it in half. Here we go. Just like we did the cuff. Sewed it together. This is right in your tutorial as well. Then folded, so we had one big piece. I guess I should have waited to sew that. Sorry about that. Folded it in half. Now I have my band. Okay? Again, back to my basting. You can see I ran a basting stitch right across here. Again, my fabric's kind of slick on the inside. It was moving on me, and I like it to be even. So let's quarter our bands. So the same thing, if we go in half, by half I mean here is the seam, pull it taut, this has got to be the other side, so if this is the back, this is the front, clip, clip. Now we're going to go, so that put it in half, now we're going to put it into quarters. So I've taken I keep putting that in front of my face, sorry about that. There's my clipped piece, going to the back, pull it out. There's one. Again, front clip to back, seam, pull it out. There's your other quarter. Quick little clip. It's quartered. So this is basically the same thing as your cuffs to put the band on, but I now know where my 2 side seams are, but I need to know where the front and the back are. So it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to quarter my sweater, bring the 2 side seams together, pull it out. There it is. Clip. If you don't like to do the clips, you can put a pin there. Some people use a marking pin. Put a wonder clip. That'll do the same thing. But I clip mine with the scissors. There we go. Okay, right sides together. That's the biggest thing to remember with cuffs and bands. Ask me how I know. Yeah. Again, I like for my seams to be where there's another seam. Since this dress does not have a back seam, I am going to put my seam in my band along one of the side seams. Okay, so there we are. side seam. And I'm going to come over here, find my clip, my clipped place on my band. Here's the other side seam, put them together. Right sides together, put a wonder clip. Keep working it around. Clipped piece of the sweater, clipped piece of the band, put them together. And around the back. Here we are. Some people actually will do the quarters and then they'll do another round of quarters while it's on there. If you're having trouble lining it up, go to making them in eighths. Clipped band to clipped sweater. Did anybody hear those little tiptoes walking past? That's my little tiny Shih Tzu. He hangs out here with me. All right, now we're just going to attach this together. I like to put my band on the bottom and my sweater on the top. You're going to have to stretch the band just a hair, not much. Sometimes, depending upon your fabric, is how much you'll have to stretch it. And different fabrics, obviously have different stretches. For this one, I'm pretty close. I'm not going to have to stretch much. But to do that, I like to be able to pull just the band. You never want to pull the garment at all, or in this case, the sweater or the dress, whatever you'd like to call it. There we go. So I find if I have the band on the bottom, I can put my fingers around it and I just can control it better. Again, line up your raw edges. Once you get it, you can't really start pulling that band till you get a needle in it. Okay, here we go. That's the first quarter. Get my fingers on it, kind of figure out where I need to be. I am kind of ooh, my dog's whining. Do you hear him in the background? I wonder what he wants. I'm kind of giving it a little tug along the back. Again, these are thick fabrics. They're just a little harder to pull through. I probably could have adjusted the pressure of the presser feet, but I didn't. Back to my procrastinating. Okay, I'm about to here. So now I'm at one of the side seams. I like to look at it and see how close I am to lining up. Yeah, I'm not as close as I prefer to be, but yeah, I'm the only one that's going to know that. Almost there. I love bands on the bottom. I don't like to hem. Band kind of solves that problem for me. So I band a lot of things. Plus they're very flattering to wear. There we go. Got it. All right, we are just about done with our P.S. I Love You dress. Okay, let's see how much you can see. Here is our sleeve with the nice cuff on the bottom. Look how pretty that does. I love a bishop sleeve. Here's the other one. Nice and drapey. This fabric just does beautifully. If we come down to the bottom, oops, got to turn it the right way. I know you can't see me, but can you see the cuff, the band? There it is. Hi. Coming along. So tomorrow we will work on our V-neck and then we'll see our finished garment. Jess is going to come alongside right here in just a minute, and she is going to show you how to do that side hemming on that side seam, and can't wait to have you. So take it away, Jess. Show us how to finish up the top, and we will see you both. We will both see you tomorrow. I hope you'll join us. Thanks for joining today. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much, Suzanne. That band is looking fantastic. It's one of my favorite ways to finish the PS I Love You, but I did want to try something a little different for the sew along, doing the split banded option. So I'm excited to show that to you all today. So I hope you're having fun with our sew along. We're almost done. Today's day 4, and then tomorrow, and then we'll be done. I'm gonna miss you all. But anyway, let's get to work, because I'm sure you're all just dying to know how to do this. Okay, so as Suzanne showed you how to finish the side seam and finish the sleeves, I still have to do my sleeves. I'm going to do those off camera since she showed you hers. But I just wanted to take a moment to show you how to do the side or the split hem, because that is a cool little feature. It gives you something a little bit different about your PS I Love You sweater and this fabulous fuzzy sweater knit from the Fab Clique. So okay, so I mentioned yesterday that I'm doing something a little bit different from the tutorial. In the tutorial, it has you use a sewing machine to sew your side seam, and then when you stop, you are able to hem this little corner very nicely. I don't get along with my sewing machine for knits usually, so I'm trying to use it as little as possible. We will see how this goes. We're going to use it for a small section, about 1 inch, just to make the line straight, so that I can get a nice clean hem on that side split. And we will try to hem it using the sewing machine. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna have to switch to my cover stitch, but this is my first time sewing this fabric on my sewing machine, and I'm not sure how that's gonna go, so we're just gonna play it by ear. All right, so grab your bodice pieces that are all sewn together with your side seam most of the way. We chained off here to get that little bit of a corner. All we're going to do is, with our sewing machine, just to make a straight line from the stitching line, and just to make it a little bit easier to hem, we are going to sew maybe about this much. We're going to sew a straight line, just so that we have a nice clean corner and clean edge to hem the split. Okay, so I'm just going to do that real quick. I'm just lining up my needle just inside that stitch line from my serger. If you are using a sewing machine, then ignore this part because you've already done it. You'll just be sewing along that 3/8 line that you sewed the side seam with originally. And I am just going to make a straight line about 1 inch long. I gotta make sure I push the right pedal here. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Little back stitch. And I'm just using a straight stitch, because for this, it's not going to matter. It's not, this is not a high stress piece where I would worry about busting stitches. So you really can't see it, but you're just going to have to trust me here. Between my fingers is the stitching line, okay? And you see it goes just below where we stitched our side seam. I'm going to turn that off, because that little tail is getting annoying. All right, and then, now these sewing machine tails. Okay, then we're just going to open that up, and you see we can open it up nicely so that we can have a nice clean hem line, I guess we are hemming it. We're hemming the split, the side seam, the side split of the split hem band. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to do that real quick. I'm just going to sew that real quick. I'm just going to hem it, and I am going to do this straight, and we will see how it goes. And hopefully, again, I'm just going to use a straight stitch. I put khaki thread in here, hoping that it would match nicely. I don't think you'll see it because of the fuzziness. Okay, so far so good. I don't want to jinx myself, though, because my sewing machine and we have difference of opinion when it comes to knits. I'm like, I love knits, and it's like, I don't. So okay, I cheated a little. I just straightened out that corner where it meets at the stitch line, like where we were stitching. Oh geez, I'm twisting it all up. It's getting mad at me. All right, but I think it looks nice. Yes. Okay, so here's the inside. You see the inside is like opened up and hemmed. And then on the right side, hopefully it looks nice. And it does. See? It does look nice. Okay, good. Good. That came out nice. All right, I'm just going to do that on the other side real quick. If I can find the other side. There it is. So that we can get our bands attached, because that's where the magic happens. So again, I'm just sewing down like an inch. Starting a little bit above and ending a little bit below where I chained off with my serger. So again, between my fingers is where I stitched. You'd think you'd be able to see the white on the other side, but no, you can't. And then I'm just going to hem it. I'm just going to open this up. Open that up so that I can get a nice little hem on that. Whoop. And I'm folding it over probably about 3/8 of an inch. I don't remember if it says in the instructions. Uh-oh. There we go. I don't remember if it says in the instructions how much to fold it over to hem. I think it just says to fold it over and hem. So that would probably be about 1/4 of an inch, since that's what your stitching is if you're using a serger. If you're using a sewing machine, then you would fold it over 3/8 of an inch. So like where I get to where my serger stitches were, it's much less than 3/8 there. It's probably more like 1/4 or 1/8. All right. There. That's done. Okay. Oh, I'll twist it again. This is one of those steps that it does look nicer if you're using a sewing machine than if you're using a serger, but unless somebody's going to get really close, like, I mean, you guys, well, you're not really close, but unless somebody inspects closely, no one's going to know. No one's going to know. Okay, let me get rid of my sewing machine because I think I'm done with it. Yes? Yes. For now. Turn that off. Bye-bye. You, over there. Okay. I meant to do that. Now, let's talk. Getting hairy here with extra threads. Ugh. Anybody else come out of your sewing space covered in threads? I know, like, back when I used to go to the store, I don't go to the store anymore, but back when I went to the store, sometimes, depending on what I was wearing, double brush poly is really bad about this, but I'd end up going to the store, like, covered in threads, and I'm just like, don't mind me. Oh, boy. I didn't have a dog back then. Now we have a pup, and she doesn't shed terribly, but I bet if she did, it would be dog hair that I'd be picking off of me instead of threads. So, how about you guys? How about you all in the chat there? Are you all like picking thread off of you all the time? Picking dog hair off you? Cat hair? My mother-in-law had the most gorgeous kitty, but oh my goodness, the cat hair that would be all over her clothes. I was just like, and she would wash it and it would come out looking almost exactly the same. I couldn't believe it. All right, so let's talk bands instead of furry friends, even though they're so cute. That's not what we're here for, even though this is a furry Hachi, just saying. That must be why it's like on my brain, because it's furry Hachi, furry friends. Anyway, band pieces. You should have 2 of these. I'm pretty sure they're the same. It was a while ago that I cut this out, so I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure they're the same. What we are going to do, fold them right sides together, okay? And then we are just going to sew. We're just going to sew to close the short ends, okay? And for this, I like to start at the open end. You can start at the folded end. I just find when I start at the folded end, sometimes I end up, they don't match up exactly at the open end. Does that make sense? Folded end, open end, right? Okay, so you can start on this end. It's just a preference of mine to start on the open end so that I know they're gonna match up. But you do you. That's one. That's two. Here's band number two. Ready to go. Whoops. I need right sides. Right sides together. There we go. Perfect. All right. Let's get that sewn up. So my sergers sound like a train. When I do live videos at for PSCO, I always feel like the serger sounds like a train. Everybody's sergers, they sound like a train. And I keep wondering if I get one of those, like, what are they called? Like the anti-fatigue mats. You know, some people use those anti-fatigue mats to like reduce vibrations. Yeah, I wonder if that would make a difference. I wonder if that would change the volume on the videos. If not, I can stand on it when I cut my patterns out. So there we go. All right, so we have two bonds serged together at the ends. Flip those right sides out. Ta-da! There's one. Just poke up that corner. There's two. Band number two. You can trim these if they annoy you, like they do me. There's three. More annoying tails. And there is four. All right, so now, now we are ready to attach to our sweater. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you start in the front or the back. You pick a side and you go with it. I don't know what this is. I think this is the back because it looks a little longer. Okay, so I guess we're starting with the back. So I only need one. Only one, please. Okay, so all we're gonna do, here is our unfinished edge of our back bodice, right? It's hemmed here, right? We just did that. Now we're gonna take our band. We are going to attach it at the ends with a clip here. And then attach it at the end here. And I'm gonna cut that off because annoying. Okay. And then you can see there is a little bit of a difference here. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be different. It's almost 1-to-1. You shouldn't have to stretch very much, but you do want to find your middle-ish. Match them up. Did I grab too many layers? I feel like I grabbed too many layers. No? Okay. All right. Stretching gently. And you can add as many clips as you need to do this. I'm just adding a few extra for good measure. Oh my goodness, stop sliding off the table. Oh, one of these days I'm gonna have a giant sewing table. It's gonna be massive. This is a round table, which seemed like a good idea. So I was like, oh, I'll have my machines all around. And then I just kind of swing around and use the different machines, but that's not what happens. I usually just sit here and then just move my machines to me. Okay, that pinned a lot more easily, so I probably did not split that very evenly, but so I'm just gonna remove some of these and just repin because I feel like I could have done it a little bit better. I don't want it pulling too much on one side. Like I said, if you are a pin person, use those pins. I love clips. Love them. They are my favorite sewing notion, by far. That and the tweezers that came with my serger or my cover stitch, or maybe both. These are awesome tweezers. I use them for everything. Okay, let's sew that on. Okay, it's not tricky to sew this on, but I am going to raise this up. Starting is always the tough part because you've got quite a few seams there, because you've got the bulk of the band, that's 2 layers, plus a seam. And then you've also got the bulk of the hem, which is 2 layers, no seam, because it's just stitched shut. But that's still a lot of layers, so starting off can be a little tricky, but we are good. We are good, y'all. Let's go. Anyone else get a rush driving fast on your serger? I kind of wish it went faster. Someday I'll have a fancy one that can go fast. All right, I'm only supporting it from behind just because I have to pull ever so slightly on the band. Not on the bodice, but I am stretching the band ever so slightly. And it's just easier to do when the stress isn't on the needles or on the presser foot to pull the fabric through. So I'm just giving it some extra support from behind. Okay. We're almost there. We're almost there. Oops. Oh, it pulled it through. I think it's okay. All right, not the prettiest finish, but it'll work. It'll work. I'm going to use my sewing machine and kind of just like, you can finish this a couple of different ways. Like, because you see how I didn't get a nice clean finish on the edge there? That's kind of funny looking. We're going to do better on the other side. It kind of slipped out. This part slipped out, like I didn't have a firm grasp on it, and I kind of got away from me. But that's okay, because I'm just going to take this and pull it back and either stitch it with my sewing machine, a few hand stitches, or I might even just pull this through, like using a big fat needle to pull it through the serge threads there to just kind of finish that like that. Okay, but first I'm going to get the other band on and then we'll deal with it. See, this side is much prettier. We still have to get rid of this thing, but again, like if we just kind of fold it over, it goes away pretty nicely. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll show you this too. If I can find my lighter, because you know most serger thread is poly based, right? So it's it melts, right? So I will pull it. Let's see if I can do this in a way that is demonstrative and it doesn't burn me. I don't know if that's possible, but I'll try. Oh, maybe like that. All right, so I'm gonna pull it tight. I know everyone at home is like holding their breath, like, don't do it, Jess. Don't set your house on fire. Okay, I'm gonna trim it just a little bit. Okay, so I cut most of it off, right? And then just there. That's it. I just burnt it. And now that edge is finished. Because this side looked very nice. It didn't need a lot of help. So yes, up close there's a little tiny burn mark. But from afar, are you going to see it? No. And as my dad likes to say, can't see it from 3 feet away or riding on a horse. No one's going to know. They're never going to know. They're going to know. No, they're not going to know. Okay, let's do the other band. Maybe you shouldn't come to me for sewing advice. I might give bad advice. I don't know. I am just I don't have a lot of time to sew, so I take shortcuts where I can. There's the proper way to do things, and then there's the Jess way. But I did not burn the house down, so that's good, right? I've never come close to that, using that. Actually, I learned that trick from Ashley Herman. She is the founder of PSCO, and she burns all of her serger threads. And the first time she did it, I was like, and now I do it because, like, oh, that's convenient. Just burn it instead of tying them off or something. Anyway, use caution when using a lighter. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, front bond. Front bond. Okay, just some clips. More clippy, 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 clippies. Do, do, do. So I'm curious, who's going to be ordering a lightweight fabric from PSILY? Like, I want to know, what are you guys making your sweaters with? Are you making it with a sweater knit? Because it's a good time for sweaters, right? Or do you live somewhere warm, like Suzanne, and you might prefer something lighter? The cover model on the pattern, hers is a lightweight knit, and I forget what kind she said it was, but it's gorgeous, and I love how it drapes. So I really want to try. I haven't, it's, you know, been on my to-do list. Anybody else have like a huge to-do list of like, oh, I want to make that, I want to make that? Yeah, I have it on my to-do list to make a PS I Love You out of a lightweight knit to wear when it's not cold, or at least not freezing. But clearly I haven't done it yet. So someday, go, 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 start. There we go. That's a good serger. That's a good brother. I appreciate that. Go, go, go. Oh, this sweater knit, I'm surprised. I was expecting, because it's a little bulky, since it's furry, I was expecting it to not sew up super easily, but it really does. It's given me like no trouble at all. So I am super happy about that. Because I was a little worried. I was like, it's gonna misbehave on camera. I'm gonna look like a fool because of the sweater knit. I don't need any help with that. Alright, I did slightly better that time. Oh, but I finished it the same way. It's okay. That's alright. Alright, should I burn this? No, I'll do the rest on my sewing machine. Or I could pull through. Do I have a big needle? I don't think I have a big needle to pull that through. Oh, I do. Ow. See, I poked myself. I have a big needle, but I don't want to use it because, like I said, I've already poked myself on my seam ripper. All right. Come here, singer. Singer-songwriter. What is the joke about that? Did you hear about my brother who writes and sews? He's a singer-songwriter? No, it's something like that. I don't remember. I've seen that joke on the internets several times, and it cracks me up every time I see it. But I don't remember the actual joke. Sewing jokes. All right. So what I'm going to... Hello? Oh, it might help if I turned it on. That's usually helpful. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, for this part that's like sticking out, I am just going to pull it back and secure it with a couple of stitches just to kind of finish that nicely. So let's see if it will behave. And I might use my favorite tweezers because I don't really feel like sewing through my finger. This is kind of a fiddly spot. This is why I started burning things, because it's just easier to burn it than to sew it. All right, so I'm literally just putting a couple of stitches in here just to secure those. Where's my pedal? That's it. That's it. That's all you get. All right, and trim those off. Trim, trim, trim. See? It looks beautiful, right? It looks so fabulous. It looks so fabulous. Okay, it probably looks better than burning. So maybe don't burn. But if you're in a hurry, you don't want to get your sewing machine out, or if your sewing machine hates you, like it usually hates me, or you just want to try it, have at it. I will not judge. Jess doesn't judge sewing machine hacks or sewing hacks, because I'm all for a good hack. Yes. All right, come on. Yeah, I know I'm going in backwards, but that's because it'll help the... Wait, where do I want to sew? Oh, yeah. That's what I want to fold over. Okay. It's helping me to get things lined up right. Okay, yeah. So remember I said I don't judge. Don't judge me! Because I'm just trying to sew here. And my sewing machine and knits don't always get along. Oh, I did not do that one as pretty. I messed that up. See what I mean? Shoot. That's okay. We just do it again. We just do it again. Whoop. Please catch this time. Don't make me look stupid a second time. There are people watching. Okay, I think we got it that time. Yes. Okay. Good, good, good. Trim, trim, trim. I'm sorry if this take too long. All you like banded people, I hope you're not still here watching me fumble through this split band. It's really not hard. I normally don't spend this much time finishing the hem, but for you all, I will do that. Like I said, I usually just burn it and get on my way because I have other things to do. Okay, side 3. I feel like I've only done, I feel like I'm missing one. Did I get the other one? Oh, I burned one, right? Come on. Yeah, see? See, it's not happy. All right, that's good enough. That's good enough for me. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this right side out for a second. Shake it off, shake it off. And as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna finish my sleeves like Suzanne showed us how to do, and then I'll be ready to move on. Okay, ta-da! So there is our split. Yeah, I guess, oh, okay, I burned one and then I sewed 3. This side looks nicer. Yeah, it's super cute. It's gonna be super cute. Okay, that's it for today, right? Yes, because I'm gonna add my cuffs. I have to do my sleeves and add my cuffs. And then we did the band. Suzanne already showed you how to do the other band. So that's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow to finish things off. We're gonna do the necklines and then it will be the grand reveal. So I hope to see you back tomorrow. I hope you're having fun. Tomorrow's the last day, so please tune back and we will see you then. Bye!